And even if you were to have like a prompt of 10 different things, right? Like say if you had one prompt of like, oh, like here's 10 different personality traits, here's 10 different superpowers, here's 10 different drawbacks.
I like coming up with random list of powers and then just see what I come up with.
Imagine rolling just those things every single time. It's always going to vary. The possibility of that happening is again like a 1 in 10 chance, but it's like it shows that there's an infinite possibility.
Always something else cool right around the corner that we can come up with, because there's no end to the prompts. There's no end to what we could roll up.
We're going to be officially rolling for superpowers. This is usually the make or break.
Roll for hero.
Got us again.
But anyways, ayo and hello everyone. It is us, your two weird unks, back at it again here on our whimsically wonderful Whacked Out Wednesdays on Roll for Hero, a segment of the channel in which we let the dice dictate what on God's green earth we will be drawing for today. It is me, your official strange and weird and whacked out ever-loving Uncle E, and of course with me today is of course my big beard, bald-headed, beautiful co-star. You know him, you love him, claimed to be the world's sexiest man since the dawn of time itself, Mr. Fish.
We're just going further and further back. I am not, in fact, as old as Dirt. I may have gone to the same high school as Dirt, but I am not as old as Dirt. He was a couple years ahead of me. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here, Dadpool. Been missing you. Ain't seen you in 2 weeks. I don't know where you been. I've been missing you. But, yeah, it's good to be back, man. I'm excited to be here. What is up, Jordan? Good to see you.
Hey, howdy, hey. How we all doing today? I am super excited to get back to another whimsically wonderful episode of this show. I missed it, but of course, I had some things to do, like get married and then have like a honeymoon. And then we had to go on a Disney cruise because apparently, we can do that as adults. So,
As adult money, you can do stuff like that.
Outside of that, though, the wedding was wonderful. Y'all, your Uncle Lee has officially gifted y'all an Auntie J, who is currently not here at the moment. She's actually back home with her parents because of some technical things she has to do, adulting adjacent activities, as one does. But outside of that, this is another way to say hi, wife. I know she's probably may or may not be watching. If she is, hi, how you doing? You finally made it, Commander Comics. How you doing? I am super excited. So, last episode, 2 weeks ago, as of this live recording, we ended up creating a series of drawings, a series of little doodles, if you will, of different alien creatures, because now we are officially. Hey, how's everyone doing today? How y'all doing? This is the official season 3, episode 1 of Roll for Hero. Last episode, which was our episode 0, we created a series of doodles of different aliens because we have rolled up at the end of season 2 a Sandalpunk alien world. Now, actually having to research what Sandalpunk is. Sandalpunk is essentially like the brass age of like the world. Basically, the idea that you're getting out of the Stone Age, entering into an age where they have swords and shields and all that other kind of crazy fun stuff. So it doesn't have to be like a desolate world, but in reality, it's like, the development of a world that has, like
metalworking and stuff. But you can also have the fantastical, whereas like most of like steampunk stuff is powered by steam, or diesel punk stuff is powered by diesel. You could have steam powered and stuff in a Sandalpunk world. Like the Egyptians developed batteries. But you could also have stuff powered by water and aqueducts and gears and things, and you could have stuff powered by magic and all kinds of things. I like to think of like Stargate a lot because it was all based in like ancient Egyptian lore and stuff, but still they had this technology that most people that used it didn't understand. It might as well have been magic to them. And I love that kind of stuff. I was a little edgy at first, but now the more I've been thinking about it, the more excited I am to get to play around in this new world we're fixing to create.
Oh, yeah, and I'm excited just as well. So because of this setting and because of the fact that this is what makes this season in particular, what makes this one more unique in comparison to, say, as like season 1, where we were just kind of messing around, see how things worked. In season 2, we had a more structured out, sci-fi universe to work off of. This one's going to be a bit unique because we didn't really have like a set alien design to live in this world. Hence why in episode 0, we had to create a series of different doodles of different aliens so that we can kind of go from there. So this episode, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Mr. Fish has created or has found a website where you can pop up some images in a generator of some kind. And we're going to do the stuff that he has drawn. We're going to do the stuff that I have drawn. And we're going to basically choose these aliens. We're going to roll up a class, like a Dungeons and Dragons class, whether they're like a bard or a barbarian, a cleric, whatever, as well as an occupation, whether they're like an inventor, a baker, this, that, whatever. And then we're going to kind of see where it goes from there. And then, of course, we're going to roll for the type of quote-unquote pantheon that they would serve under.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we have an idea of how to give them their own aesthetics, their own, visual identity, if you will.
And it gives us a lot of room to play around, a lot of room to have fun with it. We may use one or both of the aliens that we pick. I put into this random image picker, I put in all of Uncle E's characters that he's made, all the faces that he made the other day on our episode 0, which you can find in the playlist and whatnot. And then there's one to pick from all of the faces that I made in the random sketch things that we did. And so it's going to randomly pick through those, and let's see what we get to play with this week. Oh, dude. I was kind of hoping to get this weird alien one than I did.
Oh, and I got one of my dudes too. I'm not gonna lie, that rendition, that drawing, the smaller one, I actually loved the fact that I started as I was doodling, I started drawing more of those kind of guys all throughout the whole doodling process, just because it felt very versatile. So this is going to be very interesting. So by the way, to anyone who also wants to join along, I'm surprised I haven't even stated this yet. So for anyone who wants to join along, grab a pencil, some dice, and roll and draw along with us as we are creating a strange, ancient alien world.
All right, I am going to take this down for a second. I will put the heads back up in a minute for us to look at, but I'm going to take this down so that we can roll on the new tables that we've got for Roll for Heroes Season 3. And
I have occupations, you can do class.
We got class, so 2d6. Are we going to roll our own individual one, or are we going to roll for the same one?
Just so that we can diversify and make this world very lively, we should do separate. Or
all right.
You know what? No, wait. See, that's a good question. Because if we drew the same character, or we drew a similar character, say for instance, if you roll the same class, how about this? We go by the same class, we'll roll for different occupation, and then we'll see which pantheon they would serve under. We can do those separate. So I think it would be interesting.
We'll do that.
See how that works out. Unless, what does the chat think? Because, that's just Uncle E's opinion. What about the chat here? What do y'all think we should do? Should we roll the same ones together? Should we do some stuff separately?
Oh, Benjamin's rolling for 2 different worlds this season. He's going to do 2 characters, one for each world every Wednesday. That's awesome.
It's no surprise from Benjamin of all people. This dude puts out more characters like he does walk in the African savannas, man.
I'm surprised he's only doing 2.
Honestly, I'm surprised he hasn't done 4 at minimum. Ain't that right, Benjamin? Sorry.
All right, so what do we got?
All right, so for class, right, we have barbarian, we have fighter, monk, paladin, rogue, ranger, bard, druid, sorcerer, warlock. Again, for those that know Dungeons and Dragons, you probably know these terminologies. If you don't worry, I'll explain those as we're probably going to be designing one of the characters. I also decided that for this season, that we'll have a bit of a reroll feature. So if we rolled something similar, say from this episode, say next episode, we end up rolling something similar from this episode, we're going to reroll it again. I want to keep everything a bit fun, a bit more diversive, and really keep everything, lively, just to really challenge us even more.
You're right, Travis. That's not Kyron. Apparently, Kyron was the last one that signed in, and Esteban signed in before me. So his name says Kyron.
Oh no, I'm Kyron. Wait, I'm not black.
There's worse things you could be. You could have been Danny J. Quick.
Ruh-roh. I will make that quick adjustment here because, I have a tendency to be here early. Can we please work? That's fine. I'll be Kyron for today. Why not? I've accepted my terms and my fate. I lied.
While he's fixing that, where did I put it? I just had it. I swear I just had it.
Because here at Roll for Hero, we're totally prepared.
Oh, here it are. While he's fixing his name, I have made a Roll for Hero handbook that we are going to be using at the con we're going to, Holland, Michigan. Both of us are going to be there for the Tulip City con there, and we're going to do a live Roll for Hero with the kids. And I wanted to make a handbook that has all the instructions on how to roll and everything. It has the tables and stuff in it that you can roll up your own characters. It has our examples as we walk through the characters that we create. It gives examples of like how you can combine vastly different powers and stuff to come up with cool things. Anyway, lots of cool stuff in there. This is available in the description temporarily. I'm going to take it out of the description before you know it. So for everybody that's paying attention right now, if you want to go to the description, like on the YouTube channel, and click the link, you can download the proof PDF. There are problems in it. Like there's places where Esteban is missing his wristbands. There's a couple places where I need to put like how many dice you roll or something. But anyway, if you could give it a run through for me, I would really appreciate it. Help me see if there's anything that I need to fix or anything we need to tweak. And if you want to send in some images of characters that you designed, we might end up putting a version of that character on the new cover because I want to do a new cover for it too. But anyway, Roll for Hero Handbook will be coming to you soon. The proof copy for beta testers is available in the description. Go check that out. All right, Esteban Carrera, are you ready to go?
All right. So how about this? We're going to do class first, and then we're going to do occupation. So we're going to start off. So Mr. Fish, start off this season by rolling what class we will be drawing today.
All righty. We are doing... oh, wait a minute. That was 2d6, and I only rolled one. Duh. We are doing 5... A paladin. Okay.
Ooh, a holy divine warrior. All right. I like to see where this is going. Now, just because you're a paladin doesn't mean you have to be a specific knight. So in Dungeons and Dragons, paladins basically swear an oath, and that oath is basically the charge, the driving force that gives them their divine power, whether it be to a god or to something that they're looking forward to as like a main goal, right? So say for instance, you happen to be serving the god of the ocean. Like say you're a paladin of Poseidon, right? Mm-hmm. And you are now bestowed power from that god, being like, all right, you are a chosen divine warrior that serves under me. Now that is an oath of like faith and religion, whatever. But it could be something as silly as like, oh, I am a paladin who devotes and swears that he will create, the perfect creme brulee, and you're a paladin of the creme brulee. Like, it could be something as
or
silly
that you couldn't be like a blacksmith that is focused on building armor for his troops and stuff as he's, trying to take over this new world or whatever. So let's roll and see what that occupation is going to be. And we're each doing our own occupation, right?
Yep, and that's going to be 3d6. I don't want looking at my screen when I actually have it in front of me right here. All right. Ooh, the crunchy feeling. That is going to be 6. That's going to be 8. It's going to be 8 because I can do math. I know how to do math. I am not a mathematician. I am an alchemist.
An alchemist. Okay, and I am a merchant. All right.
Ooh. So we are paladins that happen to be... All right, I got to write this down. Because I would utilize all that over here.
Cards.
Yeah, I was designing some Power Core villains the other night. Lots of them. It's all in this sketchbook here. All right. All right. So we have the fact that I am a... So we are a paladin what's it called? I'm an alchemist. For those that are rolling along, what did y'all get? Let us know. And also be sure to take on to that deal that Mr. Fish was stating. Better to find a way to get yourselves, if you want your art in the little handbook, whether it be on the cover or maybe an interior, I'm assuming it's mostly the cover, then please be sure to go check out the proofreading of, the Roll for Hero handbook. I'm actually super excited to get my grubby little hands on that so then I can start doing some stuff. Mr. Fish has actually been doing a lot more art, just randomly rolling up some fun characters, and I've been over here.
Oh man,
being on a honeymoon, so look at him being all Mr. Special.
Hey, Esteban,
right.
Why does your little cartoon drawing of yourself not have a mouth?
I don't know.
It's
really
a good
don't-
question because I've had to continue drawing these characters without mouths.
I think it's because of the fact that I don't know. I think it kept the cutesy feature of it, because also depending on the style of mouth that I choose, it's going to throw off the design a little bit, in my opinion. Plus, it's just a lot more easier to draw, and it actually forces you to play with the eye expressions a lot more.
I play with the mustache a lot to try and make shapes out of that mustache to show.
Oh, yeah, especially with my mustache, which is here but also isn't. So the fact that I have like a more like thin line, scraggly one, but Mr. Fish got a full.
Oh man,
beard.
I got like a big old handlebar mustache in the Roll for Hero handbook because it just kind of kept growing to make big enough. A rogue baker of the Chinese Pantheon. Ooh,
All right, I forgot about the Pantheon that we got to roll for. All right, now.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to do? Okay, now I want to let the chat decide on this one. Chat, should we, nieces, nephews, those in between, should we roll the same Pantheon or should we do separate Pantheons? So that way we can keep it diverse, or we could try to find something that ends up working, in a similar.
I think we should go for the same one. I want to see what we do there. Yeah.
All right, then. I guess same it is. All right, nieces and nephews. All right, let's do it. Mr. Fish, you roll.
All righty, 2d6. Here we go. Joe, 5, 6, 7 is Aztec. All right.
Aztec mythology. Ooh, that's going to be a pantheon and then some. So very tribalistic.
Okay, so now we
Now you gotta try to take whatever that is, and you gotta try to make it fit for an Aztec, an ancient Aztec empire, or something of similar nature.
All right.
Actually, where the heck did that thing go? Did I No, I shouldn't have. Please tell me I didn't accidentally. I'm gonna be mad at myself if I accidentally deleted that entire image of all those faces. Because if I did, I'm gonna just be mad at myself. No. It's okay. I just internally panic inside. As we all do. Thankfully, I actually have.
As we often do, indeed.
As we often do as adults in today's civilized society. Man. Also, by the way, I actually ended up rolling from the Roll for Hero handbook, and I actually managed to create this fun little image right over here of a superhero called the Crucible.
Oh, that came out cool. I gotta find mine. Let's see. I'll pull mine up real quick too, because I really like the guy that I ended up coming up with. Let's see. He came out.
And I think you can create characters like this, if not something even better by comparison. Make your paladin.
Yeah, I thought it would be fun. Maybe next season or something to do a season out of the handbook and see what we came up with.
Honestly, that would actually, first of all, that would promote the handbook significantly. Secondly, yeah, that would also go to show you that it forces creativity. Again, like the Sci-Fi Saga, it forced us to really stick to one thing. But the fact that we're going to confine ourselves to that book, you'd be surprised.
There's my guy I came up with. I rolled up a hero who was an alien sent to Earth to protect it, but his motivation is that he's only in it for the profit. So you end up with a guy that is like only in it for the Prophet, he will sit back and let things start to burn down. He's like, eventually they're going to pay me to go do this. And, they're not going to just let the world not get saved. So he's a little self-interested. He's also got all these spots all over his suit for like sponsorships and stuff, which I thought was really cool. And he has the power to stretch, and he's a hacker. There are a whole lot of things in the handbook that aren't necessarily drawable, like being a telekinetic is hard, or being a master of disguise is hard to draw, but it's all about helping you create interesting characters and coming up with interesting ideas for the characters. Like being a master of disguise might be a hard thing to show in one drawing, but being a master of disguise is also the kind of thing that would let you make masks like the Green Goblin or Hobgoblin or something, where you could just pull off a rubber mask, but you could look like a monster character or something. So that could really let you make really cool costumes and things. And then we added skills to the handbook. So all the things like being a detective and master of disguise and sleight of hand and things like this that you could be good at and make your character more interesting, hand-to-hand combat, all this stuff, being able to design weapons, all of these things are now in skills, so they don't feel like they're shortchanged by being a power. And I could have shot lasers out of my eyes, and instead, I got sleight of hand. Put them in a whole separate thing. But anyway,
and like
had
for
a lot of
instance,
fun.
with the character that I designed over here, it was the fact that he wasn't a really good hero, the fact that he was scrappy, he had sleight of hand. He got his powers from an ancient, or from like an artifact, from an alien. He actually also he has the power to copy other heroes' abilities or other people's powers. But again, it's not shown here. But if I say turn this into a comic, or if I ever decide to tell the story of this character, I could show off how he could copy and imitate other powers, abilities, and skills. The whole point, obviously, of the handbook is to obviously create characters, and whether or not you want to pursue creating that character and developing it into a story, a comic, or a little webtoon series, that is on to you. The whole point is that we're just trying to be the spark of creativity that helps you on your art journey. Now, I haven't been yapping for too long, and Mr. Fish already has a head start compared to me. And we got to do some doodly doos. Oh, thank God I did not delete it. Oh, thank God. It was here the whole time. I just didn't have all the images on. All right, where are you at? Where are you at? You're not on this one. It's only in it for the money, exactly. Also, Rob Shepard said, Fish, make your paladin an avatar of Tez. All right.
Of that word right there is what
Yeah,
he
that
said.
one is the smoking mirror, the god of the nocturnal sky. Ooh.
I'm looking him up right now.
Now, I should state that we are probably going to go for, we're probably not going to be obviously accurate to some of the characters in the mythology, because we're trying to obviously make it our own. It's a whole alien world. So
Yeah.
that is the intention of what we're doing here. We're just trying to mimic the vibe of it. Either we're going to mimic the vibe of it, or we're going to probably go direct inspiration from it, just to clarify that now. So we're not going for accuracy. We're just trying to go for, what's it called? We're just trying to be
certainly not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or take lightly, any other culture's beliefs. Just trying to
challenge
show an
ourselves.
interest, be inclusive, and include all these other things.
True. And it's obviously, yes, 100%. We're trying to be inclusive, but also to learn different styles, different visual aesthetics, outside of our common capes and tights and stuff like that. Really wanted to try to see what we can develop from different cultures. And, again, I think we talked about this on the sci-fi episode when we were drawing, on the Christmas episode, where we were developing all these other, talk about when I was drawing the Black Santa Claus, where I was like, all right, we got to try to develop, really go outside the bounds of what we think is normal. Because again, we only draw what we see and what is commonly around us,
Mm-hmm.
All right. So love the vibe here. What am I going to do? Some ancient All right, a paladin who's an alchemist. Actually, even has like the perfect aesthetic for this. Now I got to try to draw a body for this thing because the head is one thing, but drawing the body is a different thing.
100%.
Can't tell if I want to do a little bean body or not. I was making them look like they're bug-like. Okay, so I can see the bug-like appeal to this one, actually. Trying to catch an overall insectoid aesthetic. All right, the head over Mr. E looks like an armored humongousaur. Okay, I thought I was gonna go crazy for a second there. With hair, I can see it. Dragon Gaming, what you ended up missing, I don't think you missed a lot. We were just doing some promoting for the Roll for Hero handbook, which the link to it is in the description down below. So if you want to be a test artist for it and roll up a character and to, come up with a character and send it to us, we'll see if we can pop it on over to the comic. Not only that, but we were just stating how we found the alien designs that we want to go for, which is the very top image on the top of me over here, as well as Mr. Fish. And now we rolled up a Dungeons and Dragons class and an occupation. So for me, we're both creating paladins in an ancient Aztec civilization, but my character is an alchemist, while Mr. Fish's character is a
merchant.
What was it again?
A merchant.
A merchant. So now we got to try to create characters that have like a devotion to, the society that they're a part of, but also that help incorporates, what they tend to do on a day-to-day basis. Like a centaur with rhino feet. Okay. I gotta try to create like a bulbous backside for this thing. Let me think. And that's usually the problem, my wife says.
That's going to be a whole new thing to get used to. No more hi, fiance. Now it's hi, wife. My wife gives me a weird look every time I say that, but I'm in it for the bit, man. Got to commit for the bit.
And he has committed to the bit since the days that I had to say hi, girlfriend. It went from girlfriend to now fiance to now wife. We have officially made it, people. We went all the way through. Went through all the cycles.
Got to love it.
Oh, yeah. Was I expecting to draw rhino? I'm not sure if I'm vibing with the rhino behind. Like, I can see the vision, but the execution is like, it's not there.
Oh, man, nothing drives me crazier than when, like, I can see it in my head, but I just can't get it out right. Like, for whatever reason, I'm just not hitting the target. And I know everybody thinks that, because I'm so quick and whatnot, that it always works. It doesn't always work. There's times I've had to scrap, panels or whole pages a couple of times and be like, this just isn't working. There's been a couple of times the computer decided to scrap it for me and I had to start over. But
not the computer scrapping your work.
Oh man.
And here we thought we could trust AI.
That kills me. But
all right, so
the
vision is executing a little decently.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
What do y'all think, Chad? Do you think this is working so far? I mean, I'm working with it here, but because that is giving me strong centaur vibes. Okay, I can see that too. I can also probably see this being like a race of like again, so he's a paladin and an alchemist, right? I'm assuming it's like all chemicals and stuff. And you know what? This does work for him design wise because he can probably have his whole like, like lab on his back a little bit, and then he has to like maybe learn how to do all his crazy alchemy types of things, literally like one-handed tied behind his back, and then he can create like a bomb out of nowhere, be like, for the sake of our god, and then just chucks it out there. Maybe he devotes himself. Now again, this is where being a paladin is very interesting because you have to devote yourself to something. You have to swear an oath to it, and maybe the oath of understanding the world through chemicals and through what the world produces could be a very interesting way of him devoting his time to that. Hence why he is a paladin of the chemical natures of the world. Again, really trying to break the boundaries of what we commonly think, because paladins are technically divine and holy knights, and that's what they've always been. Heck, the Bible even references that. And wizards and a unicorn.
But the unicorn is actually a rhino. On mine, I'm thinking this dude is almost like a missionary. Like he's going to the far reaches, trading for and seeking out places that, like, his kingdom can try and come in and have impact and domain over and whatnot, but also like looking for resources and stuff for his God's kingdom. And like I was saying before, like a blacksmith could be preparing armor and weapons and stuff for the soldiers. This dude is out there procuring things, looking for deals, buying rare minerals and stuff that they can use in their weaponry, and the finest jewels and stuff for their gems and their magical machines and whatnot.
Interesting indeed. Mr. Fishhead gives me the vibe of having a slug-like body. Because I know how to English, thank you for that. But it uses a mechanical suit just to move. Or maybe because this is in a sandalpunk society, so like technology hasn't developed as much, maybe this could be a very primal form. Maybe it's made of stone. Maybe it's made of like the first rendition of sheet metal, so it's not going to be pretty or like as clean or anything like that. That could be very interesting, to even touch on that.
Or I like the idea of like magic infused tech and stuff that they're, like carving things out of stone with ancient runes and stuff on it to empower it to do what they want it to do, almost like you would a stone golem or something. I'm digging that vibe, which is kind of what I was thinking with his armor, something along that lines that would give him also the ability to be able to travel to all these different places and not just get snuffed right away when he goes to some foreign land. Like, he's got to be armored up enough to be able to defend himself from strange places and other kingdoms, from other gods and stuff that wouldn't want him there. You never know what you're going to come up against when you're out there traveling in the far reaches of the realm. But, he took a vow, so he's going to march the entire earth looking for the best stuff. And
see, I'm low-key kind of struggling. I don't know. Like, I'm digging it so far, but I'm really trying to see if it can really work through. It's like I don't want to scrap it just yet because I actually like this body type that I just drawn here. I haven't drawn centaurs in a while since
cool.
I stopped playing D&D. Yeah, it's very again, thank you. Who sent me that? Thank you to whoever suggested me using a rhino body.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really interesting take here. All right. Let me see. Okay. Magic mech, like the squirrel character from Popcross Studios. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about too. Plague Doctor and Alchemist get mixed up in different fantasies. Maybe a bird-like mask would help. Got a point there. Mr. Fishhead also gives me the vibe of a bald, earless troll with insecurity issues.
For some reason, when I was drawing him, I was thinking a earless bunny hiding inside this armor. And I was also kind of thinking of the Sontarans from Doctor Who that, have those like potato heads and they're all covered up with armor. I was like, what if you just like kind of mush that down a bit into where they were just like barely poking out of their armor? And this is where I ended up. But also this sketch was done in like, a few seconds. So it's a jumping off point.
Love designing aliens because they're the only things that can either go as far as to fantasy or to sci-fi.
Oh yeah,
crazy when you think about it too. Like the only thing that will literally separate a fantasy creature from a science creature is the time frame in which the story takes place. Once you really think about it, I mean, your story takes place in the past, but you happen to have like your own alien creature. Then this is like a whole fantasy world, or it's like if you have an alien creature, but you set your story in the past, it's a fantasy setting. But if you took that same exact design, but you put it in the future, it's an alien. And I just think that's pretty interesting. I think I finally cracked down that whole philosophy there. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Like an alchemist apron. And because he's an armored, well, paladins are also very proficient with armor. And also, oh, right. Ooh, I almost forgot the fact that these are Aztec adjacent. So I had to really think that one through.
Yeah, can't forget that part. Like I kept forgetting that we were doing aliens in the Sandalpunk.
Yeah, for a video, he was like, I think you were trying to question me, like, why are we talking so much about aliens?
I was just trying to figure out, like, why are we so focused on them being, on designing an alien exactly? And I completely just, once we got the Sandalpunk aspect going, I just completely forgot all about the alien part that we rolled up. Just forgot.
So yeah, we told each other we're going to be doing aliens this time. All right. Okay, so this is interesting too. Oh gosh. Okay. Getting it now. Getting it. I'm going to use this fantasy world's equivalent of coconuts, which I'm just going to draw a coconut, as the little flasks for where he puts his chemicals in, because glass hasn't been developed yet. Because again, Sandalpunk is the brass age, so they haven't gotten to the point where they make fancy glass sculptures or anything like that.
There is lots of ceramic though, so just for it's an option when it comes to design.
That's true, because ceramics are made from like mud and dirt and water, and then the way that you properly heat it up. I saw those videos of what's it called? People trying to do like caveman technology. Now, these are aliens, so I can kind of go from there. And then, and then from here. And again, something I forget, that these are alien creatures, so you can design them however you will. You can go as far as that, because I'm trying to apply too much historic. Yeah,
Dragon Gaming.
Whoa, Benjamin, how you doing there? Mr. E's alien character. The species could be for dimorphisms. The females could be centaurs, like with leaner bodies. Okay, So, for instance, like my character here could be more of a male presenting because they have a more wider, maybe a more stout frame that is probably larger, but then the females can actually have a more thinner frame. Again, that's pretty good. I actually like that. We can play off of that, play with the species concepts and such, and then also different culturalistic reasons. So again, with Aztec stuff, this is interesting. Speaking of Aztec, I can do a little sun thing over here, like from Emperor's New Groove. There we go. Oh no, my spinach puffs. There we go. All right.
Stabilization. Yeah, the brainstorming part is one of my favorite parts too. Summer Bandit 888. That's the part that I enjoy so much. Like that's my favorite part about this show, and like making the handbook was just brainstorming, and I came up with like a whole bunch of new characters just working on the Roll for Hero handbook, and like trying to think through how to describe to somebody, particularly kids, because we're gonna do this as a free live event at the Tulip City Comic Con at the end of the month in Michigan. Me and Uncle E are going to be there in person and do a live Roll for Hero there for the kids. And I wanted to have something to give away and stuff, but like trying to explain to somebody how to do what we do, that's not an easy ask. And so I tried walking through some examples of like, well, what if you got this power and that power? How could you put those things together and come up with something cool? And, maybe it does this or maybe it does that. And the next thing you know, I got some cool new characters designed. One of them that I really like, that I really want to do something with, is this Iron Eagle character that I made up. Because I was just looking at some of the most random things that you could get, and started rolling and stuff, and I got, you have natural body armor of some element, and I rolled metal, and you're also a mutant animal, and I got eagle, and you had the skill set to be, like a weapons expert and all this stuff, and build awesome high-tech weaponry. Well, now we end up with a chrome-plated eagle with all kinds of, laser guns. That's just freaking 80s epicness right there.
Yeah, we love it.
If I'd come up with that back in the Ninja Turtle days, I'd have been a millionaire. I'd at least been 1,000.
I would have rivaled the Ninja Turtles.
I'm here to tell you, man, I'd have been rolling in something. Might have been dope.
All right. Okay. All right. Definitely gotta try to play with those swirls and patterns that are all Aztec-like.
Oh yeah, that's a whole vibe in itself. I've been looking at references of armor and old drawings and things, and trying to incorporate a lot of the shapes from that into this. I'm probably not going to go quite as detailed as their carvings are, but I want to get the vibe of it. Because if I'm going to go as detailed as those carvings on the temples and stuff, we're going to be here for a couple days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I already spent a good chunk of time just on the headphone-looking thing on this dude right over here.
Mm-hmm.
And even on that. And actually, I really like the fact that we did get the Aztecs because, again, what's it called? Emperor's New Groove is currently still in my head right now. So We ended up watching that while we were on the cruise because it was a Disney cruise and they had Disney movies all on standby.
The Aztec, that whole world, all of the cultures that get lumped together into what the colonials call Aztec. I love the beauty of their carvings and it's such a creative, interesting take that is so different than so much of the other stuff that we see that is all kind of, I guess, homogenized to a point. You know, I love the uniqueness of it compared to so many other things. But then there's also a lot of things that also feel familiar, like the pyramids feel familiar, but they've got their own look and vibe to them.
Dang it, Matt. I gotta do things today.
Also, it was really fun drawing the handbook in that cartoony style. I I had the hardest time at first trying to mimic your style of cartoon characters, but now I really like drawing them.
It's a lot more easier too, especially when you got to draw like other people
Oh,
and you're just basically taking the very bare bone basics of like how they look and stuff like that and just really amping it up.
it can be hard because, like, I've started since I've gotten used to drawing in that style, and it makes drawing a thumbnail way quicker. Um,
Oh,
which is part. I started wanting to do it just to keep them looking consistent, and I just figured it would be a lot easier for me to mimic your style than for you to try and mimic the way I drew the characters. And so I went that way, and uh, it is nice and quick, which I do enjoy. It is a big challenge for me because I'm used to having all kinds of details to play with, like noses and mouths and things, to get the expressions and the likeness that I want. And much like doing really good grayscale, when you have so many fewer things to work with, it's more of a challenge to get it to look, like you want it to. But it is a lot of fun. I've taken to doing it on the promo thumbnails for the other show I do after this, the 5-star feed. And when we have on a guest, I try and do a cartoon of them. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it is a challenge to make sure it looks like them. We got lucky tonight, and AJ, that's coming on the show tonight, has a big old beard and a bald head. So it was easy, you know, to draw him, and he's got real dark skin, so he's like darker than anybody else on the show. So that beard and that head and the skin color, easy to make it look like him and not be confused for, me or Ryan or Fee or Tony. And but sometimes, like, man, what makes Joe Solis look different than me? Well, he's got the little hat that he wears, and he doesn't have a beard, and try and find those things to make him look unique. It's a fun challenge. Takes me out of my comfort zone, and I dig that.
and I think that was actually the development of my little avatar style, like my little cartoon avatar. Especially when I was doing the whole like PNG tuber aesthetic and being like, oh, maybe I should try doing this, that, and the other. Thank God I stopped doing PNG tubing because that was so much work for videos that are practically like minutes long.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
definitely not worth that.
it's nice. For me, it's particularly nice when I'm having like a bad day and I'm real ticky and can't I can record audio, but I can't really film. So it's nice for that, but the amount of work that it takes, like you said, even just as simple as I did mine, still the editing work takes a while. And
Yeah, because then it's also like, again, with PNG tubing as well, you want to always try to, you know, especially like when you have like a small little avatar, you can make so many renditions of them, but then how many expressions can you make? And then should you make that many expressions?
Mhm.
And it's like, because if I showed y'all the amount of like images of my singular avatar character I have, it is insane. It is painfully ridiculous to see that many like images of that character, but that is to express every potential like smaller, minute expression in my tone of voice. Because you can't see me, because you know, like if I ever decide to use it, yeah, sure, it's one thing, but it also takes forever to edit. Especially the video's like only a couple minutes long, so it's like, is it really worth all the effort like that? Who knows?
Yep, it's a lot of work. When do you guys need drawings from us for the cover of your Roll for Hero book? Dragon Gaming says, the sooner the better, honestly, because the month is running along and we got to be there. I would look on my phone to get the actual date, but I'm using my phone as a webcam. Oh, jeez. What? I just told you recently. I can go back and look in.
I think it was the 27th.
I think it's the 26th, I believe, is that Sunday.
Yeah, hold on, let me see. So the con is it's on Sunday, right? The 26th? Yeah, so that means we got to be there. Well, because I'm flying in, so I'm meeting you that Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
Or Friday.
Yeah, we'll be there on Saturday.
I'll meet you at the airport, and then I'm probably going to most likely crash because, you know, reasons. Or I'll find a room. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. So if we could get them in the next week, that would be great. To get them at least to get them on the cover of those copies that are going out. Because I'm gonna be printing them and stuff pretty soon.
And to think about it, your art might be the reason why somebody picks up a pen, pencil, and goes on their artistic journey. All because they saw a cover with two cartoon uncles running away from an explosion of all the crazy OCs they made on a web show every Wednesday at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central.
Gotta get the promos in. Gotta have something to crop to put into the videos. Feed the beast.
Speaking of video creation, I'm actually going to make a video about my process when creating the Crucible for the Roll for Hero handbook.
Cool.
So that way I at least have some video content to get out there, because Lord knows I need to start getting back on that again.
Yeah, I recorded mine. I need to make a video about it.
Perfect. And then we got all that. Love this strange. This design came out a lot better than I expected. To think I was going to go for a more bug route for this design.
Oh yeah, that's coming out cool.
So we got that over there, but let's see what you got. Oh my lord. Yeah, you got a warrior and then some. You think he's a merchant. It's like, I'm here to sell the pendants for our great god. Now, when doing details, you don't want to go too in depth and too, specific. People are going to look at these things for minutes to seconds on end. That's something that I actually really got to train myself to do, is like, don't get so invested in the small details.
Yeah.
When you do,
it's fun.
You're just wasting a lot. Sorry, you're saying?
It's fun to do all the little, details. But like you said, honestly, people are going to look at most of this stuff for a minute or two, usually. And, it's not one of the, we are probably not going to be the guys that do the drawings that, they end up teaching in a class and people, stare at for weeks and write a dissertation about. And that's okay. I would rather be the working guy that tells a lot of stories and gets to make his living doing what he loves most. That is a win in and of itself. I'm fine with my place in comic books. It is a great job and I love it. But yeah, I quit worrying about trying to do something so spectacular and just make good art that tells the story cleanly and that you can read quickly and know what's going on. And like doing the images for the Roll for Hero handbook was so fun and so freeing because they could just be, quick and I didn't have to fiddle over them too much because they don't even have like 5 fingers. So
They're just like mushy little palms of flesh.
yeah, they can have a finger if you need them to like hold a pencil or something, but they don't have to. And that made it so much fun and let that book get done quickly. I was telling him and a couple of friends, I sat down the other day and was like, you know what? I should probably write a script for this before I start working on this, before I get too far into working on this. And so I sat down to start working on the script. And 4 days later, halfway through the fourth day, I had a printed up sample book in my hand to look at. And that was a pretty cool feeling.
If only my printer wasn't such garbage, then I would also have the same experience.
Don't worry, I'm going to bring a whole mess of them with me.
All right. Well, also, I just have to get a new printer at some point. Not that it's a huge rush for me, at least at the moment.
I tell you, though, it's got me thinking thoughts again. And it's always trouble when I get to thinking thoughts. And it's got me thinking, man, we could do a little old ash can comic of some of these characters and see what happens
See,
to the
that-
American
that's the
Eagle
dangerous
and
part.
whatnot.
That is the dangerous part, my friend. That is very dangerous because I would 100% agree, and I would totally drop everything just to do that. To have an official small ash can comic that we can just give out to those at a con, maybe even sell them for a buck a piece.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It would be nice.
And not that there
What
were
is
a
that?
whole
He's-
lot of young people at the last con I was at, because there weren't a whole lot of people there under 80. But you live and you learn. But I do really want to start having more stuff that is all ages friendly, which is one of the reasons I was so ready to jump on the Roll for Hero handbook, because I wanted to have something that was kid friendly and could be encouraging for those kids, where their parents have brought them to the con to meet artists and stuff and be able to ask questions and stuff. And oh man, what I wouldn't have given for that kind of opportunity as a kid. And the funny thing is, a lot of those kids come in with as much attitude as I had when my dad brought me the graphic designer from the oil company he worked for to talk to me one day about, working as an artist, when this guy couldn't tell me anything more about, working in comics than my grandma could. And that was the only thing I cared about. And then some of these kids that their parents have worked so hard to get them here to the con to meet artists will sometimes look at my stuff and be like, "No, I want to do manga, or I want to do anime." And this guy can't tell me what I want to know. I'm like, well, look here, you little turd. I can't tell you what it's like to be a working artist. I can answer a lot of questions about that. But if you don't want to know that, I won't tell you. I'll encourage you nonetheless. But I get it. You, as a kid, particularly, like you like what you like, and you want to do that thing, and you're still at the point where you got all the dreams in the world to be able to believe that you could just do whatever you want to do, and there aren't any limits or anything to it, and it's a nice place to be. I don't want to take that away.
Oh yeah. Actually reminded me of this one time I went to a con and I met my dad sent me this image a while back. It was the first con I think I've ever went to. It was SuperCon in Miami. And I think the only reason why I went, my dad even took me on a school day. He took me on a Friday. And I remember he was like, hey, because we ended up going to a comic shop because I was collecting, I think it was the Champions at the time. The newer one with like Nova, Miles Morales, the Totally Awesome Hulk, his daughter. Like I remember I was in that series. And then, I got my dad to take me to the comic shop. And while I was over there, we saw that the comic book shop was actually had a booth at a con. And my dad was like, hey kid, what do you got going on during that time frame? I'm like, I don't have any tests that I can think of. And I was like, all right, cool, we're going to that convention. I'm like, wait, what?
See,
like, we're gonna go to that convention.
Awesome. Your dad understands what it's like to work a not traditional job, not have to go to the coal mine or, clock in at the factory, and to work in a creative field and to be able to inspire his kids to chase after their dreams the way y'all have is pretty freaking awesome. You are a lucky dude that I am envious of.
Well, my dad's also a pastor, and honestly, here's something crazy too. The way that my dad raised us, he raised us on a very biblical level, and not just because that he's a pastor and he just decided to take the Bible, right over here and just smack us across the face, and be like, all right, here's some Jesus. No. He probably did that, but it's the fact that in the Bible it also states that you shall raise a child in the way that I forgot how that scripture goes in particular. I don't have that like on deck right now, but it's like,
in the way
raise up a child
and they won't depart from it.
That's the one. And because that's what my dad did. My grandfather, rest his soul, he actually gave my dad his first little I had like a little piano or some kind of a synthesizer at the time that was able to help him make music. That was, mind you, my dad lived in a very broke as a joke, like so poor they couldn't even afford the word, kind of poor at the time. So the fact that, he did that and he actually went to college, he did his own thing. My dad was a music production guy, right? And then he met some weird Colombian dude, got, hooked up with his sister, and now has 5 kids. So, hi, I'm here for that. But they traveled all over Latin America, all because, music was his thing. And he learned how to be a musician from that, and he didn't depart from the ways of what he did. And he ensured that each and every single one of his kids did something that they're not going to depart from, and that we're going to actually make a firm stance in our lives. My older brother is a musician. He's a musician, a videographer, a photographer. He's a jack of all trades. Little brother is an entrepreneur, works for a car auction, but he still managed to do his own thing at the time being. My sisters are right now, they're in college, but they're fantastic singers and great minds. And I'm a cartoonist, so
hey, it ain't
here we
wrong
are
with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Trust me. If anything, he proclaimed that I'm the one to make the millions. And I'm like, okay, we'll see how that goes.
No pressure.
But also, no pressure, right? It's like, I'm the one paying for retirement. Gotcha. But all to say, though, is that, it's very biblical to support your children in what they want to do with their lives. Unfortunately, there are many of y'all, or maybe you might know somebody out there who really can't go their own path because they're only given the choices of you have to be this, that, or the other,
Mm-hmm.
And for us, thankfully, when we were kids, we knew what we wanted to do. We knew where we wanted our lives to go. So we had a path because our parents guided us, and when they saw the interest that we were having, they're like, okay, how can we make this something that could, number one, make them money, and also they get to enjoy doing on a daily basis.
And see
my
what you're
goal-
gifted at doing naturally to encourage that thing, rather than you should do this thing that I've already picked because it's profitable, or there's a factory in town, or whatever the reason is. Like, and that's one of the things. Like, that's a scripture that I think gets misquoted a lot, is, God will give you the desires of your heart. Well, that doesn't just mean God's going to give you whatever you want. Oftentimes that means God is the one that put the desire in your heart. Like, it always was a hard thing for me to not be a storyteller and be doing jobs that weren't telling stories, because that's what's ingrained in me to do that. That's who I am as a person. And all of the jobs where I wasn't doing that were very frustrating, and like beating my head against a wall. And once I got to actually do that, I got to blossom in that. To answer Summer Bandit's question, do you guys ever struggle with overthinking a character design? 100%.
Yes. No, like literally try. You know what? I'm gonna take a quick pause on this guy for a quick second here. If it can even show, because I don't know what's going on over here, but it might show during a lag or whatever. I'm gonna take a quick pause on this guy, and I'm gonna show you a design that I've been working on since I was 12 years old. If it ever shows up. All right. Let me see where he at. Is it functioning? Computer's cool, so it's not overheating. It's probably just something strange with the device. I don't know if it's going to show or not, because it's been stuck on this image here for a bit.
Yeah, it has been there for a minute.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were just working on a detail that I wasn't seeing. Like, occasionally,
No, I'm trying to.
It's zoomed in on me, I'll be working over here and you can't see it because it's zoomed over here.
All right. Don't know what's going on here. Well, there is a character that I've been working on since I was 12 years old. Some of y'all who follow my, TikTok account, and some of them, for those that actually followed the journey when I created my very first comic book, it was a character that I call Power Core now. I had this character, I kid you not, since I was 12 years old. So think about it. I'm 26 now. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 years is the length I had this character. 25 to 24 years. I had this character for the longest span of time. Was it 25? No, it says 15. I'm crazy. I'm out of my mind right now. Don't mind me. I wish it was up here being shown off, but it doesn't want to work with me today. Come on, man.
Come on, iPad. You used to be cool, man. You changed.
For real. All right. Well, there's definitely a technical issue going on with. All right. You know what? Do you think it's. All right. Here we go. Boom. This guy right here.
That's looking so
I've had this character since I was 12 years old. Now, he used to look like he had so many different costumes, so many different renditions. If my father and my father, my brothers, my cousins, my every family member, including my wife, sees this character like, oh, yeah, it's this guy again. Because that is how ingrained he was in my life. At 12 years old, I was like, what is the superhero logo that has been used? And it was that power button. And I'm like, all right, bet. I'm going to start going for it. A whole rabbit hole later, 15 years in the making, and here we are. Oh, my Lord. Yeah. So all to say, though, I do struggle with character design, especially if you had a character for as long as I have, which is, again, 15 years.
And when you really love a character, like, you think about it a lot, and that gives you more opportunity to come up with more variations and more what ifs, and it can be easy to get distracted and just keep making changes forever. And I feel you. And then sometimes I will come up with a look for a character, and just hit the nail on the head. And like when I designed the Mighty Caw, the Cro-Magnon for my series, the Mighty Caw, the Cro-Magnon, available now at MrFishComics.com. But when I designed him, I woke up from a dream with this image of him stuck in my head, laughing at his name, the Mighty Caw, because, you know, the pun. And so for a Cro-Magnon, who's a, you know, giant bird barbarian with, you know, black crow wings, I woke up. The idea was so funny. I had to hurry up and jot it down before I forgot it. And I was like, surely this is going to change. Surely I will come up with a better idea. Don't call me Shirley. And so I spent like the next 2 weeks trying to improve the design that I had come up with. I drew so many variations of him. I wanted him to seem even more Cro-Magnon. So I had him like walking on all fours. I added like, I had decided early on that his hair was feathers. So he has this long hair, which is, you know, like a mane of feathers. And I put like body hair feathers on his chest and his arms. I put little wings on his feet too to go with the big wings on his back. I threw everything at this dude. The only thing that I ended up changing from the original image that I drew of him when I woke up from that nap is his hands got just a scotch bigger. They were already big. They're massive ham hocks now. And I put pants on him. And I made his scars symmetrical instead of all over the place because I realized very quickly I was not going to remember which side which scar was on. So I made them symmetrical and gave a story behind why they are the way they are in my head canon that I want to show eventually. And boom, I hit it right the first time. It's crazy.
Is it a headcanon if it's coming straight from the creator?
Oh, it is. It's my headcanon. Until it's on the page, it's all headcanon to me. Once it's on the page, it's down. Until then, I'm playing in the sand. And, you know, we can switch the whole thing away at any moment and change it 100%. To me, it's that really upset TS when we were working on a script together. And it took me a minute to realize, because I'm autistic and I don't always catch these things in the beginning, I didn't realize he was getting mad at first until he started yelling at me. And then I was like, oh, he's like mad. But he had worked up this idea for the script for issue 3, I think, and we were talking over the details, and I thought we were coming at it from a place of we're playing in the sandbox and we can just build sandcastles and move stuff around as much as we want. And he had laid a very detailed foundation, so everything that he built off of that would end up where he wanted it to be. And here I am just like, well, what if we move all this? What if we had a tower over here? Well, I didn't frame for a tower in the foundation. Oh, okay. Well, what if we move that tower? We put it over here and we put this over here. And what if we do it in a whole different town? But I spent a week digging a foundation here. And I was like, oh, what if we added dinosaurs? And he lost it. And I understand now that, you know, he was coming at it from a much more methodical place than I was. I was coming at it from a play around. But I've always kind of flown by the seat of my pants. And I'm used to making stuff up as I go along, like we do on this show, which is why I enjoy this so much. TS is much more thought out on these things than I am, by a mile. And I had to learn that little thing in working together. And it's made things go a lot smoother since then. But that was a long-winded way to not answer the question of, yes, sometimes I can overthink things. I'm real good at over-explaining them. Oh, boy, ask me a question about that, and I'll tell you something else.
Oh, yeah, literally.
Your characters are looking awesome. I'll make sure to have a character before next week on Instagram. Thank you, Dragon Gaming. You are the best.
All right.
Vapor Rub says, the memories. Dragon Gaming says, I feel you,
hold on,
Uncle Lee. I have
buddy.
a character I've had since early high school.
Go.
That's a White Rabbit for me and Alice. I've had him since I graduated college. He was the first character I came up with. He was the first original character I came up with after I graduated college. And the first character I feel, and it's probably not true, but it's the first character that I really feel was 100% my idea and not just a ripoff of something else. And you can describe him as a ripoff of something else, but he was 100% my idea when I had him, and not like, oh man, I really wish I could do a Batman character, or I would love to do a Captain America character, but I would want it to be different. And that ended up being Capital Punishment, who is in the trade for Green Zone Life in the Blocks, the 180 something page trade, which is still available for late pledges at gomrfish.com.
Which I'm definitely gonna get my copy at some point.
It is, he's in there that you get to see for the first time, and I'm really excited for folks to see him. But essentially, he was. I wish I could do Captain America, and what would a patriotic propaganda type hero be in my world? And he's a very mean old man who's completely scarred from head to toe now, like Freddy Krueger, because he's spent like the last 60 years, 80 years fighting crime, and being burned and thrown in acid pits and a toxic waste puked on him and all kinds of nasty stuff. So like underneath his suit, he's just all scars, so he doesn't take the suit off anymore.
Actually, speaking of sorry, continue. Actually, proceed.
Oh, I don't even remember what I was saying now.
No, you're saying something about Capital Punishment, the design.
But yeah, he's much more like Captain America fused with the Punisher, because Casey Jones is one of my favorite characters from the Ninja Turtles, and my favorite thing about him was his warped sense of justice, and that everybody deserved the same brutal or fatal beating, whether you were a murderer or a purse snatcher, at least in the beginning. I think he grew past that. But in the beginning, when I fell in love with Casey Jones, that's who he was. And I was a teenager and, angsty and whatnot. And so Capital Punishment was somebody who will just beat people down, whether you are a murderer or a psycho killer or a purse snatcher. He will just lay you out, and is not called Capital Punishment for no reason. But in the book, now that he's an old man, you get to see some snippets of the trauma that he deals with after years of being a hero like this. And it's really, it was a lot of fun. I almost did that book instead of Green Zone, just a book of his stories. I can't remember what friend I was talking to, but somebody was like, I think you should do that Green Zone story. And that's literally all it took, was that little push. And that's why we have Green Zone instead of a trade of Capital Punishment's war stories.
All right, and I think my character is all done. Whew.
Yeah.
I was very surprised on how well this managed to turn out.
I may change that color. I'm not sure, but I like the way my guy came out.
Yeah, I was not expecting a centaur build here, but then again, I never expect a lot of things from this show.
Let's see.
All right, awesome stuff. But yeah, no, I was going to say, actually, funnily enough, on Easter, I woke up from a dream, and I actually had like the first like character from a dream type situation. And the superhero name in question, now I know this is a DC character after looking it up, but the superhero that I came up with or that I dreamed about was a superhero named Liberty Bell. Now I know that that's a DC character who, you know, gets her powers from literally ringing the Liberty Bell, but mine was like a Captain America type character. So I don't know why that randomly popped into my head, and I was like, oh dang, I remembered. I literally on Easter I just came up with that, or I dreamt about it. What do we got over here?
We've got Skelvent, the Baker of Death, the rogue baker from the Chinese pantheon. I love it, man. That is cool.
Here, show it off a little bit more. Show off on the fuller screen.
Oh,
I think it's about time we can also get rid of the top alien head since we're more or less done with our design here.
whoops. Oh. All right. There we go. That is from Dadpool. There we go. But yeah, that's Dadpool's character, Skelvent, the Baker of Death. That came out really cool, man. I dig it.
That is actually awesome.
Yeah.
Oh wow! And I think I can see the inspiration from like your image there, and then like again, I think he took the thing. Wow!
Oh yeah, he took it in a way different direction than I did, and I love it. I love it. But that's the thing. It's a sketch. You can go in whatever direction you want with it, and turning him into a lizard dude is really cool. And like the shape of the curve that I had, where I was thinking shoulder, he's got his jawline, and I love it. I love it. It came out really cool.
That was actually wow.
I'm telling you, man, we got some talented folks hanging out with us. Ain't just all good looks and sunshine, man. It's we getting stuff done out, y'all. That's what we doing. Oh goodness gracious! Time just keeps on moving, don't it? So tell us about your character. Tell us about what you got going on here. Let's make it full screen.
Yeah, so my guy over here is an alchemist. So obviously I went with the more like I thought of Emperor's New Groove. I thought of like that kind of aspect of the Aztec Empire or something along the line, or like the Mayan Empire, I guess. But I love the crown aesthetic for it, and I tried placing that for the shoulder pads and stuff like that because he is a paladin and a devoted man of his faith. Obviously, I like the fact that, you know, paladins are still knights, or like they still wear armor to some degree. So I wanted to play with that idea. The apron obviously could also be like part of the royal garb, but also that would play like a chemist apron, if you will. The coconuts that are actually on his hip side there, those are supposed to be like his vials. So again, playing with the jungle aesthetic, that, you know, they would use coconuts or maybe some other variations of holding, you know, the whatever type of chemical or new thing he's discovering, that he'll keep those in those little coconut husks and shells. So that's what I went with. And when someone here commented, hey, why not make it more like a rhino build? I was not expecting a rhino build at all. I was expecting to go more like bug-like, or to give them little small bodies that would equally fit the size of their head. But this was a very unique direction that I was not expecting to go. And I very much enjoyed this process. The only thing, like obviously outside of the body, the head, the only thing that I added from the head was just adding that little sunshine crown effect, which could actually be like a very unique form of like knight or like a guard or a warrior for, you know, this part of the alien world, if you will.
And you would have to think, just from a practical standpoint, it would be great for glancing blows off the top of the head. And
exactly,
I dig it. I dig it.
Not only that, but think of it.
Go ahead.
I mean, imagine this world that we're developing right now. This could be two separate factions of this like ancient Aztec empire. Like your character has a very cool blue. Like, let's get to your character. What is this guy all about?
All right, let's see. Move him up yonder. There we go. Yeah, this dude, I don't have a name for him yet, and I may change the color scheme. I was honestly, when I was drawing it, I was thinking more of a stone armor, and now it looks more metal. But I may change that. But I'm going at it from, like I said, the idea that he is a paladin, but his mission has been sent as trade and proselytization. Like he's going out to spread the word of his king and to help his people take over more of the world and whatnot and spread through peace or violence or trade, whichever. But he's got this heavy armor to help carry all the stuff that he's carrying with him to trade and to buy things and to buy gems and minerals and stuff that he can take back, and the wizards and the blacksmiths and stuff can turn into powerful weapons for, you know, his side. But also, you know, to build these trade routes and to build partnerships with other nations and stuff, and, you know, build a bigger coalition for his team. But you also got to be protected when you're going into, you know, unfamiliar territory. So he's got the heavy armor to protect him. There's also like ancient missiles built into his gear. I was looking at some of the cool designs from some of the old drawings, and some of the shapes like went really well to armor plating, and maybe, you know, what might have been a feather or something originally in the drawing kind of looked like missiles to me. And I was like, we could hit that same shape language and do two different things at the same time. And I love it. It kind of like protects his gear behind him from attacks, but also he's got like some long range assault there if he needs it. And I really dig it. I love the face carved on the front of his thing, the front of his guard there. So like he's just protected, you know, except for the top of his head. But I love that, the scary teeth carved into there on the front. And I'm really liking it. I would hate to have to draw this guy a million times as the main character in a book, but as a side character that you see every once in a while, it would be fun.
Yeah, I can definitely see him being that NPC that just happens to conveniently be there when the party just happens to conveniently lose all their artifacts and weapons and stuff. And they conveniently need to fight off some rendition of a demon or something like that. That is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I very much enjoy the color scheme of this. And I like the fact you're able to work a lot, because I wish I had more stuff on standby, or at least to, you know, use a second screen to be all like, all right, let me see and research a little bit more. But
oh yeah,
I really
my setup is ridiculous here. I have a TV in front of me that I'm looking at. I have my cell phone on a long arm in front of the TV. So when I look at the TV, I'm essentially looking into the camera, but you'll see me look from side to side because I got to look around the camera. I have a screen over here. I have my drawing tablet over here. It's a whole thing. I have lights and stuff so that I look as beautiful as I do. It's a whole thing. It is not easy. Brett Arney says in reply to Travis Gibbs, I do. I want to be Danny J. Quick. Don't we all really, deep down inside? Isn't there a little Danny J. Quick in all of us?
Dragon Gaming says, in fact, I'm going to go back to the character from high school, work on him, and bring my superhero story that I have a spot that needs to be filled. And he is exactly who I'm looking for the position. And see, that is the point of the show. We're just trying to make you just do things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it. Honestly, there are times where I actually, like, I'm not even going to lie, I wanted to, when doing the Crucible character, again, just to show it off, because I made him, for the Roll for Hero handbook, I really wanted to, like, stop and do, like, a quick 5-second comic for this character. But I'm like, I can't do that right now. I have other things to do, because it's like, it's the dopamine hit of like, oh my gosh, you just created this really cool character. I want to learn more about him. But like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I want to do a whole like Iron Eagle comic now, and I want to add this guy in there, and so many ideas, so many things. And doing this Roll for Hero handbook, I'm gonna make myself large for just a second here. Let's do that.
Go right ahead. I'm gonna just be eating peanut butter.
Up here. Well, I clicked it, but it didn't go. Let's move there. Come on now. Why don't you be nice? Okay, hold on a second. Let's do this one. I can do this one instead. There we go. Making the Roll for Hero handbook was a lot of fun. I really loved the way it came out. It was fun drawing all the little cartoon characters. It really made me want to do an Ashcan comic really badly. So we may end up having to do one for Roll for Hero and getting to design like all these little characters to explain some different concepts of how you can combine stuff together and how you might get like an alignment and a motivation that don't seem like they work together, and then how you can make those things work together into interesting characters. And then I did some examples here of like, what if you got ice body armor and super speed? Well, maybe that lets you slide around on a sheet of ice and you can build ramps to hit turns real quick. Or what if you got werewolf and astral projection? Maybe when you astral project, you turn into this intangible werewolf monster. That would actually be really cool, to have that kind of form. And then like got Iron Eagle here that shows up in the one little. I would love to do a whole book with that dude right there. And this guy down at the bottom, Power Fist, which I know it's backwards for you, but I got multiple arms, and then I got the modifier of all your power comes from your suit. So, well, in that case, if everything comes from his suit, then his extra arms had to, and I end up with these big, giant, massive arms that he controls with his little arms. Oh, that was so freaking cool. And not for nothing, when we're talking about suits and magical transformations, there's a little fish on my suit, just because. I thought that was funny.
I saw that. That was a neat little touch.
All right, let's see. Can I get this back down now without... there we go. So go to the link in the description, especially on the YouTube video. It should be real easy to find there. And you can download the PDF of this. Check it out. Make a character real quick. Roll through it. If you find any mistakes or any issues or anything that needs to be addressed, send me a message and let me know. Like, I've already found a couple of places in here and made some notes, but I need to get them fixed quickly so we can print them. So we'll have them at the con on the 26th of the month in Holland, Michigan at the Tulip City Comic Con, which y'all should come if you're in the area. Brad Arnie, look in your direction again. You should come hang out because me and your weird Uncle E are going to be there in person, along with T.S. Luther and a whole bunch of other awesome people are going to be there, and always having a fun time at Holland. Looking forward to it again this year. So yeah, there you go.
I'm excited because this is going to be the first con that I actually am going to, out of state. So this is my first out of state con, one that I'm even like partaking in, not just being like a guy who happens to just be going to one, but like the fact that I'm actually a part of it is actually like super, super astonishing, and really it's going to be a blast and a half, and I really can't wait. I'm actually trying my best because right now the quickest way for me at the moment, because again, I don't have a printer and the money and the finances for printing my own book right now is like so. I'm trying to see if I can get the grub made through like either the Amazon KDP thing or something like that, and like it's 90% of it's there. It's the cover and the barcode is the only problem. So I'm like, oh. Anyways, I'm looking through that. I'm trying to see what that's all about. But if not, I'm going to see if I can try to upload it on Webtoons just so that I at least have that on the go. So I'm going to be working on that for a bit, as well as some conceptualizing and all that other kind of crazy stuff. Anyways, Mr. Fish, you got a whole other show that you got to partake in. So we're going to be ending our time here. So for everyone who has partaken into Season 3, Episode 1 of Roll for Hero, thank you guys so much for joining. And of course, the two weird hunks are signing off by just letting y'all remember that, art inspires all. You can inspire more, but always remember the three. Man, I'm really out of it. Anyways, 3 of the rules: stay awesome, stay weird, keep life to the easiest. Remember that art inspires all. You can inspire more. But until then, remember that your uncles love you, and y'all have a good one.
See y'all later.
See y'all later.
And even if you were to have like a prompt of 10 different things, right? Like say if you had one prompt of like, oh, like here's 10 different personality traits, here's 10 different superpowers, here's 10 different drawbacks.
I like coming up with random list of powers and then just see what I come up with.
Imagine rolling just those things every single time. It's always going to vary. The possibility of that happening is again like a 1 in 10 chance, but it's like it shows that there's an infinite possibility.
Always something else cool right around the corner. that we can come
Huh.
up with, because there's no end to the prompts.